If your product touches the US, UK, or EU, you're already being judged on secure by design, whether anyone says it out loud or not. In this course, we'll decode those expectations and turn them into practical choices for your roadmap, budgets, and vendors. We're living through a major shift in who is expected to manage security risk. For years, the attitude was user beware. If you misconfigured or didn't patch, that was your problem. Now regulators treat insecure software more like a defective product. Responsibility is moving firmly onto vendors, driven by large-scale ransomware and supply chain failures. Secure by design isn't just a US idea anymore. The US, UK, and EU are all pushing vendors in the same direction, but they're pulling different levers. In the US, CISA leans on guidance and market pressure. The UK uses consumer protection rules. The EU ties security directly to market access. Together, they're reshaping global expectations for how digital products are built. CISA's real influence isn't only its guidance, its purchasing power. The US government is saying, if you want federal contracts, you must show your software is built securely and be transparent about what's inside it, including SBOMs. What began as soft law is rapidly hardening into procurement requirements, centered on the secure software attestation form. In the UK, the PSTI regime sets the baseline for consumer-grade connected products. Security is now mandatory, not optional guidance. Think smart speakers and wearables that can't ship with admin anymore and must expose a clear vulnerability contact channel so researchers and customers can report issues responsibly. The EU's Cyber Resilience Act is a game changer for anyone selling digital products into Europe. It treats security like product safety. If your hardware or software isn't secure enough, it simply shouldn't be on the market. Beyond large fines, the real leverage is market access. No credible security evidence means no CE mark, and no EU customers. Across the US, UK, and EU, the headlines may differ, but the engineering asks are remarkably similar. All of them expect secure defaults, so customers can't accidentally deploy an insecure configuration. All of them expect mature vulnerability handling, clear intake paths, risk-based triage, and timely fixes. They require lifecycle support through updates, and absolutely no hidden backdoors. If you design around this shared core, you'll satisfy most regimes and limit regional differences to documentation and process details. Where these regions diverge is how hard the rules bite. In the US, expectations are enforced mainly through self-attestation and the risk of losing government or critical infrastructure business, plus liability. The UK goes further, demanding formal compliance statements with significant fines, mainly for consumer IoT. The EU goes furthest, detailed technical documentation, broad product scope, and large fines or even market bans. Instead of designing 3 regional variants of your product, treat secure by design as a single global standard. Start from the common baseline, strong authentication, logging, and basic hardening. Then assume EU-level strictness as your design ceiling. CRA-style assurance, documentation, and lifecycle obligations. Layer in UK-specific requirements, like bans on default passwords and explicit support periods. By engineering to that highest common denominator, you simplify architecture, evidence, and roadmaps while staying ahead of customer and regulator expectations. Hardening as the default means customers start in a safe state without doing anything. First, remove universal defaults. No shared passwords, keys, or one-size-fits-all configs. Next, design for least privilege. Every service, role, and integration is off until there's a justified need. Then reduce attack surface. Disable ports, APIs, and debug features unless they're explicitly required. And don't make strong security optional. Users can relax controls for valid reasons, but they should never be forced to strengthen a weak baseline. Think of transparency as giving your software a nutrition label. Regulators and enterprise buyers now expect to see what's inside, which open source components you use, which versions, and how you manage them. That's what an SBOM delivers. Under the EU CRA, it's mandatory, and it's baked into CISA expectations in the US. Without that inventory, dependency risk management is guesswork. Practically, pick a standard like SPDX or CycloneDX, automate SBOM generation in CI/CD, and treat it as a living artifact, not a one-off document. Coordinated vulnerability disclosure is where secure by design becomes very real. You need a predictable path from discovery to report intake, to triage, to actually fixing the issue, and then telling customers what changed. Regulators expect you to give researchers a clear front door, usually via security text or a dedicated email, and to commit to SLAs for triage and remediation. Silence or ad hoc reactions are now viewed as negligence, not neutrality. Regulators have made one thing crystal clear: no more plausible deniability for product security. Someone in leadership must own it end to end with explicit authority and budget. You also need a single, coherent compliance roadmap that spans CISA, UK, and EU expectations, not a pile of disconnected projects. And if your tech debt blocks security fixes, that's a board-level risk, not just an engineering annoyance. Compliance exposure is now a personal and board-level liability. A practical way to move from reaction to proaction is to treat secure by design as a single, unified roadmap. Start by anchoring on the strictest bar. Assess your products against the EU Cyber Resilience Act, then assume that bar everywhere. Next, codify one internal secure by design standard, then extend it outward. Require SBOMs, review vendor practices, and close gaps. Finally, automate by embedding these checks and security tests directly into your CI/CD pipelines. Secure by design isn't only about avoiding fines or passing audits. Done well, it becomes your market moat. Align once with CISA, UK, and EU expectations, and you can sell, scale, and defend trust confidently in every region.